This is the project I'm working on next. This is called an Add A Grapple, made by Precision Manufacturing, and this is the mini version. It's 125 pounds, so I figured this wouldn't add too much to the weight of my loader. I didn't really want a standalone grapple for my needs. It came on a pallet, strapped to a pallet. I've pulled it off and put it on my loader bucket and kind of set it up with some straps and some spacers to see how it would fit. It is adjustable. These pieces on the side slide for different width buckets. And you're supposed to align it so that the points of the grappler picks should be about 1 inch in from the tip, from the edge of the loader bucket. And I've got it raised a little bit. So what I did was I pulled the plugs out of the hydraulic ram and made sure that the ram was extended as far as it could go. And I checked that by pulling this pin out, and was able to verify that this was extended as far as it could go. Now, in particular, on this loader bucket, I have this rib that's on the side of the bucket here that I have to deal with. So I am currently working on producing some shims that will go behind this plate and make up for this rib. So I'll have a shim behind this plate, and then I'm going to add a plate on the interior of the bucket and sandwich everything together. Because the last thing I want to have happen is this thing start moving as I use it and wallow out the holes. Now, this is the primary reason that I added the third function kit right there to my tractor. Once I get this all attached, I'll have to measure for hoses. Need to make sure that they're long enough so that when I tip the bucket as far as it can go over, it doesn't put any strain on the hoses. So the first step is going to be to get this thing attached to the bucket, to the loader bucket. And the instructions want you to use at least 4 of those holes. So I'm going to use these 3 holes in the back along this edge, and this one hole will go directly through this rib. That's the plan. I'm continuing on with this Add A Grapple installation. I've got 1 hole bored here. Now, because of this rib in the side of the loader bucket, I had to create some shims that go back behind this plate of the Add A Grapple to make up for the thickness of this rib. And it kind of looks like this. This is the one for the other side. I had to roll over the edge of it so that it sits up against this rib this way. Just adds a much more stable backing for this plate. And I've got some grade 8 bolts that I'm going to put in these 3, and then we'll have one more bolt that goes right into the top of this rib. And then behind this, on the inside of the loader, will be another 1/2 inch piece of plate that everything's just going to sandwich the loader bucket side with those bolts. So that's the plan. I've taken a 9/16 drill and marked the center of the loader bucket, and now I'm gonna use a number of different bits to punch that hole through there. Let's see how that goes. Whew. Well, that's all 4 of them. Let's see if I can get a pin. Into this one. These pins are all stuck in there. And there we go. I'll be using these 3 bolts with this shim behind it. And then bolts on the other end of the bucket. I'll just start it back up when I'm putting the bolts in. So I've got all my holes bored, 4 on each side. There's a shim back here that goes underneath this plate, and that's because there's this rib on the side of my loader bucket. Then on the inside I have a plate that all the bolts will go through, so everything will just get sandwiched in together. Same thing over here. Well, I've got all the holes cleaned up and painted, inside and outside. And then here are all my parts that I've painted. The 3 components of the Add A Grapple, and then 2 each, 2 on each side, shims and bolting plates. So I'm going to go ahead and install that to the bucket. I've marked the center of my bucket here and put these spacers that I used earlier. Now I'll add each one of the side pieces. Here's my spacer. Here's my plate that goes in the interior. Let's see if this will go on. Hey. All right, on the inside we're going washer, lock washer, nut. All right, let's see how much play is in here. A little bit of play. So we're not going to tighten any of that down quite yet. Snug these up by hand. And I'll get the other side. All right, this is the other side. Shim. So I'm going to go ahead and start cinching these up. I'm going to put about 50 foot-pounds on them to begin with. We're going to cinch these down. Looks pretty even relative to the back edge of the loader bucket. My handle's open and closed without busting fingers on it. All right, I'll just do it this way. Let's put this ram on. Got a pin that goes in here. I'm going to pull these plugs out so I can extend this ram. There we go. That's as far as it goes. The plugs back in for now. And there it is, all bolted up, painted blue to match the tractor. Alignment isn't too bad. Instructions wanted the tip of these tines about 1 inch behind the leading edge of the bucket, and we're about 1.5 inches. And I think that came about from kind of a little bit of a sag of the whole thing. I'm going to get started on the hoses. Let's get these plugs out of here. Now, I've already put some tape on these pipe fittings. Put a little bit of liquid paste, liquid sealer. Alright. Now I want both of these to be directed straight. See if I get another round on this one. All right. Alright, hopefully that's going to be tight enough. Here's the two hoses that I selected. One is 48 inches and one is 54 inches. We'll see how that works. Okay. That doesn't look too bad. These fittings kind of spin a little bit. So I've completed the installation of the Add A Grapple. This is the model number, and it is the mini version of Add A Grapple. That completes the installation of the mini Add A Grapple. It was a smooth purchase with about a 3-week lead time. I'll include a link to the manufacturer's website in the description of this video. I'll also include a link to the supplier that I purchased it from. I purchased the hoses and couplers from Summit Hydraulics. Thanks for watching this installation.